Okay, and we're live. So, hi everyone, and thank you for joining another Foreman community demo. I'm Nafar, I'm an active developer within the Foreman project, and I'll be hosting the demo today. Let's move on to the agenda we have. Before we get started, for any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us on the Foreman group chat on metrics, or during the demo, you can also use the Google chat here on Google Meet. Okay, so we only have 2 topics today for the demo. Without further ado, let's dive in. First one is Quirin with Katello running content views. So Quirin, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I will just, share my screen.
Yeah.
Share now.
Please.
Yeah. And there we go. Okay, so yeah, my name is Quirin and I work for ATIX, and I want to talk to you about rolling content views, which is a new feature for Katello that we have been working on. And yeah, I guess we started out with a discussion thread on the community forum. Back then, we named it transparent content views. Eventually, the name changed to rolling content views. But let me just get started with, I guess, a little bit with the motivation, and it's easiest to show with, well, actual features. So all of you know on Katello, you can add products and repositories, and I've already added a repository for us to use. And once you have a repository with some content synced into it, you may know there's a published @ link here. And this repository that you're synchronizing to is what we call the library instance repository version of this repository. So that's the one you're synchronizing to. If I hit sync now and I get some new content, it will immediately be here. And as you may or may not know, there's something called the default organization view, which is kind of an, well, in the UI, invisible content view that exists on every Katello instance. You have exactly one, and it contains the library instance repo version for every repository on your Katello instance. So if you register a host to the default organization view, you will get this repository available on that host, and you will also get every other repository that you've added to your Katello instance. And in the past, you were able to then sort of limit what repositories you would get on which hosts using subscriptions. But since Katello has switched to simple content access, that's no longer possible. So you always get all of your Katello repositories if you're subscribed to the default organization view, and the only thing you can do is enable and disable them. And so for some of our users, that has more or less rendered the default organization view unusable. And so rolling content views is our answer to how you can, again, use, like, register your host to latest, greatest sync content, but with arbitrary repo sets of your choice. So I will just go to the content view page and show you what that looks like. I need lifecycle content views. And I've created one content view of each type. So there are, in the past, there was composite content views, regular, and now there's rolling. You can already see if I fold out the rolling content views cannot be part of a composite content view, so I don't have any related composite content views here. Yeah, we can maybe just create a new one. You can see there's now 3 options. There used to just be 2, and I can create another rolling 2. And yeah, I have that. And so unlike a normal content view, if I just go back to the content view page and open the regular content view, which has versions, repositories, filters, history, For rolling content views, I just have repositories and the details tag. So let's go ahead and add our test repository to this rolling content view. And here it is. And you don't need to publish anything or create any new version or promote anything. You can now just, as soon as you've added this repository, create an activation key. So I'm going to do that. Create an activation key for it. Call it rolling. Rolling content views are always in the library environment, just like the default organization view. I'm not going to select the default organization view. I'm going to select our rolling content view. And then you can already see on repository sets that we have exactly one repository in here, the one we added. And then I can just go ahead and register a host to this activation key. So I've already prepared a Ubuntu host here. I still need to fetch the certificate from my Katello instance. And then I can go ahead and apply that. And I've also already installed Subscription Manager. So now all I have to do is register. Let's just see and hope that works. And then I should be able to see that my host is using that one repository that I've added to this rolling content view, and it is using it from this URL. So I will just grab that and head back over to our instance. And if you went ahead and compared that to the library instance repository, then you can see the only difference in path is that we have the name of the rolling content view in the path here, and it will always contain the exact same content as the default organization view. So if I now go ahead back to my repository and synchronize, no, I'm gonna remove one of the releases and resynchronize. And so right now we have 4 packages. And now I'm going to synchronize, which should be pretty quick because it's a small repository. And so that looks like it's successful. And if I refresh the page, I now have 0 packages. That isn't quite what I expected. But I can see already the pool folder is gone here in the library instance repository that I synchronized into, and it is also gone here in my rolling content view repository that my host is using. So yeah, I meant to only remove half the packages with that action, but the principle still stands. So that's really all there is to it. So you can just quickly add and remove repositories, arbitrary repositories to your rolling content views and register a host to it, and it will get all those repositories that you've added in latest, greatest synced content state. Yeah, I don't know if there's any questions or possibility for questions, but that's basically what I have to show.
Thank you, Quirin. Yeah, we're all clear from questions. Yeah, okay. So I guess we can move on to our next demo, which is by Ian, image mode hosts in the UI. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Nofar. And yeah, thanks for the great demo on the rolling content views. Definitely want to try that out soon. But yeah, I'll get my screen shared. Alrighty. So for my demo today, I'm going to be showing a bit more progress on the image mode feature in Katello for image mode hosts. For a reminder, if you don't remember what image mode hosts are, they're machines that essentially get provisioned from containers. They use OS tree technology in the background, so much of the file system is immutable. Like if you install packages, they'll be wiped on the next reboot unless you actually install those packages in your container image that you've provisioned the machine with. But the last demo, I showed information on Hammer, but now we have this information in the UI as well. So we can see here, so I've got an image mode machine. I'll run a bootc status, which shows information. So this machine right now is running the CentOS bootc stream 10 build. What's actually interesting is this machine began its life as a stream 9 machine. And when I was testing out some of the capabilities of image mode, I said, well, this probably could be great for upgrades, right? So I just said, I used the bootc switch command, which lets you switch the container image that it gets provisioned with. And I just pointed it to the stream 10 tag instead of the stream 9. And suddenly my machine was a stream 10 machine, which is great. And now we can see some of this information in Katello. I will say one caveat, we're still waiting on the bootc community to implement carrying facts through Subscription Manager into Katello. So on this machine, I have a bootc.facts file that Subscription Manager is picking up, and it has information about the image and the digest. This is all planned. It's not solidified yet. But once this is done, then Subscription Manager will be able to reliably send these facts over. But for now, we just have to copy it ourselves, create it ourselves from the bootc status. Anyway, onto the UI. So we have our nice new host listing page here, and you see that there's a new column on the side. This is the package mode / image mode column. You see I have a number of hosts, and the one that I was just showing you is this bootc machine. So you'll see that you can tell if a host is image mode or package mode based on this nice icon. If you click on the icon, you see more information if it's an image mode host. So you can see that my running image is the stream 10, just like you saw in my bootc status. And then you can also see the digest here. But not only that, you can also filter. So you can filter things like image mode equals true or false. So we can see which of my hosts aren't image mode ones. So you see I have a few package mode ones. You can also filter it on like the digest, or the image. So like bootc available image equals blah. You can type in the image if you want. Or you can also type in a specific digest to see which machines are running a certain digest. But let's actually take a look at the machine itself, because the feature doesn't stop there. On your details page, if you scroll down, you'll see a new image mode details card, and you'll see all of the same information that you'll find in the bootc status, plus a little bit more. So you'll have the running image and digest. You'll also have the staged image and the staged digest, which is the one that will be upgraded to if you're doing like a bootc switch, if it's already applied. You'll see the rollback image if you've triggered a bootc rollback. And now there's one called available. The available image pops up only if you have done an upgrade check on bootc. So it caches an upgrade, but it's not actually going to apply it quite yet. So if you see an available image, that means your host essentially is prepped to upgrade, but it actually needs some action to do so. So there's a bit of differences here. We might see these change in the future potentially, but this is the standard at the moment. So in the future, what we'll be implementing next will be commands to run these bootc, or it'll be the UI to run these bootc commands over remote execution. So we'll have new remote execution job templates. We're planning on having links to these templates in the image mode details card, but of course you'll also be able to just go to schedule a job and run it from there as well. And we're also planning on creating a new UI page so you can get an overview of the images that you have deployed in your image mode among your image mode hosts, just so you can better manage which ones are out of date and which ones need updates. Yeah, and that's all from me. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Ian. So far, no questions. So resume the sharing. Yeah, great. Was our last demo for today. So the next demo is on January 26th. So if there are no more questions, I would like to thank everyone for joining, and of course for Quirin and Ian for great demos.
So
Cool.
I have a question for Ian.
Yeah.
This feature, okay, I guess you're adding this to Katello. I don't know it very well outside of Katello. So like how new or bleeding edge is this, or how widely is it already used out there in the world to have these hosts that are basically based on container images?
Yeah, so this is incredibly new. Red Hat released a blog post on it, I don't know, 4 months ago maybe. So it's incredibly bleeding edge. You might even call it tech preview at this point. But people can go out there and try it and start using it today. I don't know how many people have adopted it yet. But if you're curious, I can send over some like some blog documents or whatever. The Fedora community also has a big write-up on what these image mode machines are. They have a post on bootable containers, which is really handy. That kind of teaches you what the whole deal is with them. But so yeah, I would definitely call this bleeding edge tech at this point.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. If you can drop the URL to the blog post somewhere, maybe in the community forum post for the community demo, that would be great, I think.
Yeah, I can totally do that.
Okay, I guess there are no more questions. So again, thanks everyone, and see you all next time. Bye-bye.